Hi everyone, Coach Sullivan here again with MJS Coaching Football. To those of you who have subscribed, I thank you. And for those of you who haven't, I hope you do. I just completed my 38th year coaching football. I was a defensive coordinator, but over the years I've been an offensive coordinator, a special teams coordinator, I've been a head coach, all at the collegiate and high school levels. So today in this presentation, what I want to talk to you about is our 3-4 base, okay, the base front and the alignment rules versus 10 and 20 personnel. Okay, 10 and 20. So one back, no tight ends, two back, no tight ends. Okay, so four wide receivers or three. All right, so now the commonality there is no tight ends in the game, at least one running back. Okay, so you're going to love this. So let me start. First of all, what makes it base is our rover detaches when needed, not tied to the front. That's what makes it part of our base package. Okay, we have multiple fronts in our base package, but today it's the front that everything else spawns from. Okay, in our 3-4 base front package. All right. So with that, versus 10 personnel. The end nose and studs stay left and right. Oh, they love that. Okay? Now, 10 personnel, when whoever has responsibility holds up the 10 card, our kids are screaming, even 10, even. And there's a reason for that. It's coming right now. The dime and the mic stay left. They travel together because the rover and the mic travel together in both 11 and 21 personnel, so we might as well keep it rolling, okay, versus 10 and 20. So they're always traveling together. You follow me? So they stay right. Our right. Rover. Boom, done. But because the mic travels with the rover to the tight end in 11 and 21, we keep it. These are the four groupings we see the most of, okay? Consistent. All personnel groupings, the field corner, the free safety, middle of the field, go to the lizard rip, ball in the hash, big field. That's why he's called the field corner, free safety, F and F. Okay, travel together. Boundary corner and the whip, middle of the field, have to go opposite the lizard rip, ball in the hash, hence the name boundary. Goes into the boundary, the whip stays on the hash, hence boundary hash. And here's the best thing of all. Okay, when we talk about 20 personnel now, two backs, but still no tight ends. Watch this. All 11 defenders have the same alignment rules. The same. Okay? The slight difference will be how we adjust to 3-by-1. And it's a very slight difference. It's still what we call auto overhang, but a little, minor tweak. Okay? So let's get into this. I've got the 10 personnel formations, the two that we see. Again, offensive coordinator's got 10 billion formations, and the mistakes that I think have been made by defensive coordinators, they try and put a specific name with every single variation. Oh, my mind would blow. We think there are two formations with 10 personnel. Detroit, D, 2-by-2, 4 wide. Toledo, T, 3-by-1, 4 wide. Okay, yeah, they can be tied to this. It's Detroit's Detroit, Toledo's Toledo to us. Okay? So, middle of the field on purpose, ball in the hash on purpose. Okay? First of all, in our base 3-4 against 10 personnel formations, that's a 5-man box. I've given you other presentations. We have 6-man box variations, okay? But right off the bat, this is a 5-man box. So this is in passing situations or a team that doesn't have a very high tendency of running the ball out of 10 personnel. For whatever the reason, doesn't matter, okay? So, ball's in the middle of the field. The reason it's a Liz, and let me even go so far as to add, when we put something first, we say add it, add even. Tag comes at the end, okay? Add even. This is even Liz because the base rule is Okay, quarterback's under center, but even if it's in the gun, the base rule Liz or rip to the quarterback arm. So if he's a righty, it's going to be a Liz. Lefty, it's going to be a rip. That's the base rule. Okay, boom, done. And nose and studs, stay left and right. 404, head up, right? Face mask to face mask. Don't try and match feet. That's a nightmare. Face mask to face mask. Tangible landmark. Okay? Back of left, Mike right. B split on the guard. Inside toe, outside toe. Again, tangible landmark. Boom, done. 51 is gap responsibility. That's a whole different presentation. Okay? Now, since, okay, dime's left, rover's right, right? Correct? Sorry. Two's detached on both sides. See? Both dime and rover detach. Okay, remember, rover's not tied to the front. Makes it the base. So it's orbit on both sides. 5x3, they don't go any wider than 5 yards from the tackle. The 3, their inside toes on their DN's heel. So when you go from the butt of the tackle to the heel of the DN, that should be about 3 yards. If not, it's close enough. Again, it's a tangible landmark. Okay? Both corners are 1x7 Oscar outside of number 1. Both safeties are at 12. They move 1 yard Ike inside of number 2 on both sides. Boom, done. Okay? Now over here, purposefully, I've put fib, which is formation into boundary. Okay, so the ball is on what we call the left hash. Right? Big field to the right. BF, big field. So think about back to the rules, right? Field, corner, and free safety going to the big field. They don't even wait. In the little scrum, they line up on the big field side. Boundary and whip line up on the boundary side. Okay? Now it still remains a 5-man box. Okay? But if you look, you see, well, where's the rover? This is the tweak that I was alluding to at the beginning. How do you play? Well, they come out in, not motion to, it's a whole nother presentation. They come out in Toledo. Fib. Okay? This is how we teach it. Hey, Rover, your number 2 is on the other side, so go over there and line up on him. He's now number 3. Okay? When it's Toledo and it's away from the Rover, so it has to be Liz, Toledo left, we say that's your 2. Go over and line up on him. Because consistently, the dime in this case lines up, head up on his number 2, and now the rover, his number 2 is 3. That is auto overhang, which is consistent to a 3x1. Overhang is both outside linebackers on the same side. Okay, both outside linebackers on the same side. So if it's Toledo to our right, rip, rover's over 2. Now the dime's number 2 went over, and dime's on his number 2, which is now 3. Okay? See, now the boundary is 1x7 Oscar. It's still orbit, and we say the outside linebacker over number 3, okay, has the force because it's a little bit different. Whip is at 12 on the hash. Now over here, free safety stays 2x12 because there's no number 2 and he goes off the tackle. Okay, the corner rolls up an outside press and he bails on the snap. So before you tweak and say, oh my God, you're going to get rope-a-doped here in the alleyway. No. Okay, the base way we play, it's not the only, but it's the base way. It's the automatic. On the snap, safety screws down to 5 yards and see there's your 6th guy in the box. You're pretty sound against the run. You're also sound against the pass, but you'll have to see my check steal presentation. All right, so I have no intentions in this presentation to talk to you about how we adjust to the motions or any of that. That's another presentation. This one is all about getting your guys lined up, having consistent, simple rules that never put your players in conflict, meaning they're right and wrong. No, it's one or the other. You're either right or you're wrong. We want our guys to always be right, so therefore they can play with confidence, which means play fast. Here, to get the feet playing fast. Okay? So that's why we do this. So that's how we handle 10. One back, no tight ends. And please remember the beautiful thing. When it becomes 20, everybody's rules are the same. Okay, except now you got a better chance to get the run game, right? Two backs, but still no tight ends. So down here now, middle of the field, okay, on the left, okay, 20 personnel, ball in the hash on the right, so middle of the field first. Okay, again, it's add, even, 20. So whoever has the responsibility shows the 20 card. Our kids scream, even first, then 20. It's an even number, which, again, kicks the rule of dime back a left, rover Mike right in. So now your entire front seven are left and right because they can be. You don't have to worry about matching up on that big butt tight end, right? The run strength side, that's not an issue. So now here, okay, this is rip because, again, similarity 21, 20, two wide receivers. The two wide receiver side is the lizard rip side. So rip, field and free are right, boundary and whip left. Now, it's not an alignment thing as much in terms of left and right, but you got to move up, two backs. So the corner's at 1x4, still Oscar. The safeties, the 2x8/10, they're at 8 unless I signal 10 because it's a passing situation or a tendency, so I want them 2 yards deeper just in case. Otherwise, they're at 8, okay? So the rule here is simple as well. When 2 detaches, safety moves inside or Ike on number 2, again, at 8 unless I signal 10. Okay? So Diamondback are staying left since there is no second receiver here. The dime aligns in the ghost, which we tell them, reach out. If you can't touch the hip of your DN, you're not tight enough. Because to us, arms width would be about the split of the tight end from the tackle, if there were a tight end. So it's a ghost on a tight end. And that's what we say. Reach out and touch your DN. If you can't, tighten up. You're too wide. Okay? 51s, gap responsibilities, another presentation. So since it is a rip, the rover detaches. Again, that's what makes it base. The rover detaches, not tied to the front. Okay? Now it's orbit. Same 5x3 rules. 1x4 field, 1x8 Ike number 2, safety, boom, done. All right? Again, I'm not talking about motions and changes and all that, not in this presentation. Just how do you get your guys lined up? And then on the final diagram here, balls on the hash. Again, left hash with big field to the right. So I purposely put fib formation into boundary again. Okay? We're going to start with the secondary. Balls on the hash. I love it when I see the field and free in their scrum, lining up to the big field and the whipping the boundary into the boundary. That's beautiful. I also love it when I see them doing their scrum at 8 yards, which tells me they're already thinking. They see the 20, they move up from 12. It's huge. I mean, I don't go crazy about it if they don't. I mean, when the offense lines up and the ball snaps, as long as they're at 1x4 and they're at 8, okay, I'm happy. Otherwise, I'm going to be screaming to move up, right? So now, because it's fib, again, they made the even call, but now it's Liz. So all that tells with the 2 receivers, again, is the determinant. Now the dime detaches, its orbit here. Now the rover's in the ghost, reaching out and touching. And if he can't, he moves in. Again, same thing. That would be about the split from the tight end if there were a tight end there. Ghost tight end. Still 51s. Whip, still on the hash. Now the free is 2x8 outside the tackle. Okay? It's sky. Right? Boom, done. Field, still 1x4. Boom, done. Okay? So number 2 is not likely to be 5 yards because it's the condensed boundary. So we say he's inside. We want you to be head up, meaning inside of 5. If he's as tight as a yard or 2 from the tackle, you're going to be outside and it's going to be back to sky anyway. But you can't get blocked down on in case they run a toss or outside zone or something into the boundary. And it might take your safety a little bit of time to get there. Crappy angle, but that still follows the rules. Consistent rules. Don't mess with the rules because then your kids start thinking, okay, ball's in the hash. He's inside, but it's still orbit. No. 2 detaches. We just say in the boundary rule, it's a little different. He's outside of 2 yards from the tackle. We're going to call it orbit. And the kids understand that because they can see how everything gets mashed together when the ball's in the hash formation into boundary. Okay? So again, the huge coaching points are when it's 10 or 20, so even, right? No tight ends. We have our kids add the word even to the 10 or 20, which kicks in. We're left and right up front. The front 7 are left and right, 100%. Okay? The rules are the same for all 11 defenders for 10 and 20. Beautiful thing. The only tweak is we teach it overhang now, both outside linebackers. Their 2s are on the same side, so you are. Boom, done. The scheme compensates for that on the other side with that invert and safety. All righty? And the 2-back rules are consistent in the sense of you call the lizard rip to that 2 receivers. In this case, they will both be detached. Make it so you have consistent rules, not putting your players in conflict, and give them tangible landmarks to line up on because you can't go wrong. All right. Again, I thank the people who have already subscribed, to people who haven't. I hope you do. To all of you, if you have questions, reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com because I would love to talk football with you.